All right, if you're a contractor, you know there are a ton of big decisions that can make or break your business. But we're not talking about winning bids or hiring your crew. We're talking about your most critical tools, your heavy equipment. So what's the move? Do you lease it or do you buy it? It's so easy to just assume that owning is always the end game, right? It's the American dream. But in the world of construction, that assumption can be a really, really costly mistake. Today, we're going to pump the brakes on that idea and really dig into a smarter way to think about your fleet. Because that's what this is all about, isn't it? Cash. Every single machine, from a skid steer to a massive dozer, is a tool to make you money. But how you get that tool on site directly hits your working capital. And that's the cash you desperately need for payroll, materials, and just growing your business. So let's frame this the right way. This is not just some operational choice about picking up a new loader. No way. This is a fundamental financial and strategic decision. It affects your balance sheet, it affects your tax planning, and it absolutely affects your ability to stay competitive. And get this, it's a decision pretty much everyone is making. According to the Equipment Leasing and Finance Association, nearly 8 out of every 10 companies in the US use some kind of financing to get their equipment. This isn't some niche strategy. It's just how modern business gets done. So let's break down the options these companies are weighing every single day. Okay, let's dig into path number 1. This is the one that always feels like the default setting, the traditional goal, buying your equipment and getting that full suite ownership. And look, the appeal of buying is powerful, for sure. You're building equity in something you own. You can run it 24/7 if you want, no restrictions. You can paint it, you can modify it, it's yours. And maybe most importantly, it becomes a solid asset on your balance sheet that strengthens your company's financial footing and can seriously improve your bonding capacity, which, as you know, is the key to bidding on those bigger, more profitable jobs. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. One of the biggest financial perks for buying is something called the Section 179 deduction. This tax rule is an absolute game changer. It basically lets you deduct the entire purchase price of your new equipment in the same year you start using it. For a profitable company, this can literally slash the real cost of that machine by giving you a massive tax saving right away. But, and this is a big but, there's a major trade-off. Buying demands a huge upfront investment that just locks up your capital. And the second that machine rolls off the trailer, it starts losing value. That's depreciation. Plus, you and you alone are on the hook for every single repair, every maintenance check, and every insurance payment. The whole shebang is on your shoulders. Okay, so now let's flip the script and check out the alternative, leasing. This strategy is all about prioritizing immediate access and financial flexibility over that long-term ownership dream. The upsides here are pretty compelling. First off, you keep your cash free for everything else. Your monthly payments are predictable and usually way lower than a loan payment. You get access to the latest, most fuel-efficient tech without worrying about your current machine becoming a dinosaur. And you totally avoid the nightmare of trying to sell an old beat-up machine down the road. And leasing doesn't just mean one thing. You've got options. An operating lease is kind of like a rental, perfect for a short-term project. A finance lease, on the other hand, acts more like a loan, where you're basically building toward ownership. Then there's lease to own, which is a hybrid of both. The key takeaway is that you can tailor the deal to fit exactly what you need. So, let's do it. Let's put these two strategies right next to each other. How do they really stack up when it comes to the stuff that actually matters to your bottom line? Looking at them side by side like this, the core trade-off becomes crystal clear. Buying just hammers your cash flow up front. But yeah, it can be cheaper over the long, long run. Leasing protects that precious cash, but you might pay more over time. With buying, you're locked into that asset, for better or for worse. With leasing, you're paying for the freedom to adapt. It's really a classic battle, long-term equity versus immediate financial agility. And that brings us to the most important question you have to ask yourself. What is more valuable to my business right now? Is it building up that balance sheet to go after those bigger bonds, or is it keeping your cash liquid so you can make payroll, buy materials, and pounce on new opportunities as they pop up? So, with all of this information swimming in your head, how do you actually make the call? Well, the smartest, most successful contractors will tell you there is no single right answer. It's about picking the right tool for the right job and the right financing strategy for the right situation. In fact, probably the most effective approach for most companies is what we call a hybrid strategy. It's simple. You buy the core machines you use every single day, your workhorse loaders and excavators. Then, you lease the specialized gear you only need for one specific job, or just during your busy season. This way, you really do get the best of both worlds. So let's make it easy. Leasing is almost always the smarter move if you're a new business and you need to protect that startup capital, or if your workload is really seasonal, or if you're taking on some weird specialized project that needs a machine you might not use again for a year. Basically, it's for anyone who says cash flow and flexibility are king. But on the flip side, buying is a total no-brainer for well-established companies with stable work and healthy cash flow. I mean, if you know you're going to run that bulldozer 40 hours a week for the next decade, the long-term economics of owning it are just impossible to beat, especially when you factor in those great tax benefits. Ultimately, it all comes down to this single question. Is your equipment strategy an asset or a liability? Your fleet should be a tool that helps you grow, not an anchor that's draining your resources. So take a hard look at your yard, at your finances. Is every machine out there actively working for you, or is the way you acquire equipment actually holding you back? Finding the right answer to that question, well, that could unlock the next huge stage of your company's growth.